this morning, we remember the nearly 3,000 people killed 22 years ago on 9/11 in the worst terrorist attack on U.S. soil. Today, a volunteer firefighter who survived the attacks is on a mission to break the stigma surrounding mental health and PTSD. CBS News' Haley Ott joins us now with more on him. Haley, you met with him and took a look at the organization.
Good morning, Anne-Marie. Yes, on this September 11th, one first responder who risked his life saving others on that day in 2001 is now working to help others and himself take care of their mental health.
Rob Weisberg's service dog Chip is trained to recognize certain cues of post-traumatic stress disorder.
When he sees them, he comes over and gives me a whack with his paw. And basically he's saying to me, come on, let's go for a walk, let's change it up, let's just get you in a different mindset.
A volunteer firefighter who nearly lost his life during 9/11 while helping others, Weisberg has struggled with survivor's guilt and PTSD ever since.
I had my suicide planned out. I just had to do it.
According to federal research, roughly 1 in 3 first responders develops PTSD in the U.S., and first responders are nearly 10 times more likely to contemplate suicide than average Americans. Robert Masseri is the co-founder of Paws of War, the organization that trained Chip and other service dogs to work with first responders and veterans with PTSD.
We help them by placing a dog with them to understand the balance and what this animal can do for them. Right down to sleeping next to you, waking you up when you have night tremors.
Unless you have PTSD, you'll really never understand what it's like. And I tell people all the time, Paws of War provides a safe place for me to be me.
Through Paws of War, Weisberg connected with others who knew exactly what he was going through. Earlier this year, he hiked the Appalachian Trail to raise money for the organization and to raise awareness of PTSD.
Break the stigma, okay? Get people comfortable with the idea of saying, I'm having a problem, I'm gonna get help.
Now, Weisberg is moving forward with new hope for the future and a friend by his side.
And Rob is connected with a lot of other veterans and first responders through that organization, Paws of War. But he also told me he's having lots of conversations with others in his life, anyone who seems like they need to connect, which is opening doors for them to heal as well. Anne-Marie.
I think that's really interesting. You know, it's clear why, you know, he would be suffering from PTSD, but I think a lot of people suffer from PTSD who, you know, the source of that mental sort of situation may not be so obvious. What more have we learned, or what more did you learn about PTSD?
Exactly. Rob himself told me that he knew that he had a very serious issue the morning after the 9/11 attacks. He said that he was staying at his friend's house nearby and some construction material was dropped in a dumpster and he just jumped out of his skin and he said, oh, I've got something I've got to deal with. And the way he described it, PTSD for him, he said, was like you're running at a hotter temperature than everyone else. So if you're talking about potentially boiling over, if you have PTSD, it might take less to get to that point than it would take if you weren't dealing with that. There are also symptoms like flashbacks and really terrible dreams, and it can push people into a very dark place, so it can be really debilitating and disruptive.
And, you know, often people are also accompanied or also sort of feel survivor's guilt. Right? Did the group sort of offer any other tips about dealing with survivor's guilt and PTSD?
I mean, for Rob and for a lot of people, I think those two things went hand in hand. He said the most important thing when dealing with either of those very big issues is to reach out, ask for help. He's the first one who'll say that. It's part of the reason why he talks to as many people as he possibly can. He said when he went on that really long walk, the Appalachian Trail that we mentioned in the piece, he was basically stopping and talking to other hikers that he ran into about this issue that they were facing in their own lives, and they potentially weren't even first responders and hadn't been through something like he'd been through. So he would say there's a way forward. If you're feeling anything even remotely like this, you just need to reach out and get some help.
Wow. Haley, thank you very much.